entrepreneurship.
A very bright good afternoon to everyone. I'm Anushka Pachori from BPharm, and on behalf of IMT College of Pharmacy, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you in today's IAC session on World Entrepreneurship Day. It is an honor to be able to introduce today's guest speaker, Dr. Mallikarjun BP. Dr. Mallikarjun is currently serving as director at IMT College of Pharmacy, Greater Noida, and has published more than 25 papers in reputed journals. He is a life member of Pharmaceutical Association of India, Indian Pharmacological Society, and Association of Pharmaceutical Teachers of India. He is the first pharmaceutical scientist of private sector in Uttar Pradesh to be invited to deliver speeches and lectures on international platforms in United States of America and China. He also serves as a reviewer in editorial board of reputed journal and is currently guiding multiple B.Pharm, M.Pharm and PhD projects. I would like to request our Dean, Dr. Pushpendra Jain sir, to please welcome him.
Thank you, Anushka. Good afternoon to all dignitaries present over here. I would like to present my warm welcome to Professor Mallikarjun BP sir for delivering such a hot session on entrepreneurship. Nowadays, this is requirements of our young generation. How they use their skill and to become a successful entrepreneur. And no doubt, in pharmaceutical industry, there is big scope to become a successful entrepreneur. So, on behalf of IMT College of Pharmacy, Greater Noida, I would like to present a warm welcome to our guest and ensure you, sir, from your session, all participants will be benefited and apply the knowledge earned through your lecture, your session in his career and become a successful entrepreneur. Thank you, sir. Over to Anushka.
Thank you, Dr. Pushpender ji, for such an heartful welcome on behalf of IMT College of Pharmacy. Thank you, Mrs. Ankita Tripathi, the President of IIC, IMT College of Pharmacy, Anshuka, for inviting me and with such a warm welcome. So today we are celebrating this Entrepreneurship Day at IIMT College of Pharmacy. As we know that every year we are celebrating the Entrepreneurship Day at IIMT College of Pharmacy. The day is we acknowledge the achievements by the successful entrepreneurs in our institute, as well as nationally, the successful entrepreneurs who have been carrying out their businesses or entrepreneurship successfully. So that is what the Entrepreneurship Day, World Entrepreneurship Day, that we celebrate on 21st of August 2000 every year, mainly to create an awareness for entrepreneurship, innovation, and leadership throughout the world. So then it is the story that how a successful entrepreneur start his journey, what are the difficulties, and how we overcome those challenges and the hard work and dedication and determination that can transform to become a successful entrepreneur. And those successful entrepreneurs have been, today we have been inviting, and we are just sharing we are rewarding those successful entrepreneurs. And we have been here, this is the platform where we reward them by inviting them, as well as to bring awareness among the youngsters, as well as among the faculty and students, so that they can follow their as a role models in their career of entrepreneurship. And we expect more number of people to come forward. So that is what the Day of Entrepreneurship we have been celebrating. We plan to celebrate at IMT College of Pharmacy. And with that motto, I would like to just a brief line about how an entrepreneur, what is the inspirations, how that is successful entrepreneurs, how they have transformed, and they have been sharing their successful stories, or we can say the successful stories of those entrepreneurs, and to motivate the other youngsters, maybe the faculty or maybe the students, or maybe more the scientific community, or we can call it the innovators. So we have to motivate and we have to instill those confidence and the skills that's required to become the successful entrepreneurs of the future. So the entrepreneurship is, of course, it's not a easy, or you can say it is a different career. And that is very, very important for the development of every nation. Without the entrepreneurship, the economy of any nation cannot be the optimistic. So, for example, if you look at the developed countries of Western worlds, all this world, they have been developed, all those nations have been developed only because of the success of entrepreneurs in those countries. So the same thing, same models, and that's what in India we have to motivate the youngsters so that the country will prosperous because of their efforts, because of their hard work and determination in creating entrepreneurial value, or you can say economic value, that can build the competitions, and that brings about the innovations and the challenges, and these innovations can be again transformed to a successful entrepreneurship. So ultimately, we need the country like India, we need more entrepreneurs through the process of entrepreneurship. So just to get the brief of this entrepreneurship, it is nothing but running business to one's own, and it identifies the needs of the marketplace and meet those needs by supplying a services or a product. So that means that the entrepreneur has to start planning his journey. He has to survey, he has to identify the needs of the society, of the people, and accordingly, he has to start working that how to fulfill those needs in the form of a service, or it can be a product. So that's what he has to start preparing himself through the risk. And of course, the risk is he has to dedicate, he has to leave other priorities, and he has to start work himself. That is what the entrepreneurs has to the way of in the, you can say the catalytic time or incubating time for his business. He has to identify, first he has to identify the needs, and according to that, he has to start preparing the process. And this process takes a lot of energy, lot of time and dedication and hard work. And enormous hard work is required because it is not alone himself, he has to take the help of the entire group of people, maybe is supporting, and he may be the leading, but definitely under his guidance, a team has to build up, and he has to create the platform for those team. And during this, he has to work for a lot of space among him as well as his team members. And that's what he has to continuously, he has to keep on working on the ideas and the whatever the challenges that he has been identified. And for that, he has to keep on work in different ways, different methods, maybe plan A, plan B, plan C. So he has to keep on working, and that's what needs to be work on the creative mind rather than, so you can say the outdated, whatever the thought process, other traditional methods may not help those problems to be resolved or solved. That's what he needs, critical thinking. He has to be more creative, and he has to be more skillful of resolving those problems in the idea or the needs or what the challenges he has been choosing. So that's what he need to take the high risk, and the decisions is very, very important. Once he has built up the idea, he has to work on a lot of these ideas after taking a lot of pros and cons and the dish. And once he prepared an idea, and those ideas has to be again tested and retested. So that is what the innovation, the first phase of entrepreneurship usually starts. So that is what he has to work from the scratch, from the day one, or in the starting of this idea, the grouping of the people and discussion, creative ideas, rather than this routine ideas. That's what he has to keep on planning out this in the initial stages. And once he arrived this idea, a creative idea, then he has to put into, or he has to keep testing those ideas. That's what, when the decision has been taken, then he should keep on working on those ideas and keep on rechecking those ideas, whether it works out or it can be the failures. So that's what he used to, the ideas to be again and rechecked, and it should be validated. So that is what the entrepreneur, the leaders, you can call it as the leadership. Here is what is testing. The entrepreneurs is nothing but his capability of working from the CEO to the 360 level of approaches he has to keep on thinking. That is what his thinking abilities, his capability, and responsibility once he has taken out that entrepreneurship decision. So the actions also weigh upon the calculated risk, and the actions whatever intended is to be again defined. So that's what the inquisitive mind is very necessary, and he has to be always look at ventures, the competitors. He has to conduct a lot of research. That's what he has to always, that how many competitors are on the same ideas, or maybe that idea exists or not. He has to question himself. He has to always recheck, validate those issues, whether the new idea, new problem, new solutions, what he has been planned, whether it works or not. So that is what he has to be always the goal oriented. That is how he can decide. He alone himself decide. That's what the decision is very important. And once he decide the actions, how you arrived are working on those decisions through the action is very, very again important. That is what you have to set the goal. And once the goal has been set, you have to keep on hitting the target, the goals with different approaches. So that is the really, it needs art, it needs your skill, it needs your knowledge. That's what the innovation and research, you should keep on working on this and keep on targeting those ideas, or you can say the goal. So the entrepreneur should be always independent. If he cannot, the decision cannot be taken on his own. If he's relying or depending on the others, then definitely you will be again the failure. So definitely he should be independent, and he should take his own decision, and he should work on the plans, what is decided, and he should not dependent on any others. So that is what you should be always self-demanding. So you have high expectation. Of course, when you started your as a journey as an entrepreneur or innovation, so definitely you have been always in the initial stage, you may be dream high, and definitely to meet those expectations, you should definitely always to work for those expectations, and for that you should be always demanding yourself. This should be, that's what it is, determination. That is enormous hard work is required. Maybe you have the tidiness, maybe that's what the dream of building the entrepreneurship journey always did not allow you to take a rest. And that's why it keep on demands on you. And of course, when you keep on working, you will develop the confidence. That is what the self-confidence is very, very important. And that is what every entrepreneur, they believe themselves instead of others, and they to work on those confidences and the knowledge and the innovation and the skills what he had been gained throughout the journey. He has to put every aspect into it, and that is what he has to be put all this energy before and into these ideas and the innovations, and that will definitely, he makes himself this high risk, or you can say a risk-taking individual. And that is what, if you keep on taking these challenges or the risk, and these risks again will be rewarding later. And but this risk should be always to be weighted and to be calculated sometimes, and sometimes it may be out of the calculation, sometimes you may be, but you should bring always this into the right mode and put into the calculated risk. And you have to always see that how the opportunities keep reminding you, and accordingly you have to work with the opportunities within the line, and always should be reasonable of chances of success. So always you should prove yourself that whatever the ideas you've been planning out, the directions you've been working, and the goal you've been taken out, and you put the risk entirely into an opportunity, but always keep in mind that the significant outcome of these ideas based on the opportunities, at least you should be always win-win situation, the calculated risk. That is what a reasonable, based on chances of success, you should be always work on that. So of course, you will be always like any other individual, you will be more restless, and the entrepreneur always is on goal, and he's always working on the challenges, and definitely with these challenges, and you've been at the high risk, and the actions whatever you are being, so you may be working, and some may be doers, some may be not doers. It may be that opposite, maybe the spectator sometimes encourage, some discourage. You may be facing humiliations. Sometimes you may not work out those ideas or challenges or solution, or some your team cannot be supported sometime. So the decisions, whatever you have to stand. That's what the entrepreneur stand himself, and he facing all kind of challenges surrounding is himself, in his idea, in his problems. So that is what the circumstances, all this, you have been encircled, all these challenges, and you have to face as an alone. And maybe if you have good teammates that will be supporting you, but the teammates, maybe the decision always lies on you, and the actions always lies on you. So that is what you have to take the decisions with thorough planning, and after that you have to act on those, executing those decisions. That's very interesting. That's what it needs, more of high skill, high energy. That is what your personal, professional skills and the high energy on making that decision. You should be strong, and that's what the self-confidence makes you here to take that. And you should be more enthusiastic. You should be always enthusiastic, so that you should be energetic and passionate about how to pursue your goal. And that's what you should rebuild your energy. Sometimes it's again, this idea won't work out. The way the solution option one may not works out, then you should not demoralize, demotivate the entrepreneurs or any successful leaders. They always keep rebuilding that energy. So that is what you should be, keep on adding more and more energy, and you should get yourself, that is through enthusiasm, you have to make yourself again rebuild tomorrow. Maybe this idea do not work, or this strategy will not work. Then you have to rebuild it. Again, you should not lose the confidence. And that's what enthusiasm between you, that will awaken you, and that's what make everybody about. That's what the energy comes within the if we have the passion. So that's what I would like to say, that students, maybe initially lot of problems we may come across, but the enthusiasm whatever you have, and we should always look at the positive strategies rather than thinking about the negative whatever which we come across during this leadership or the goal oriented approaches. So my advice, that any successful entrepreneur in the entire world, so what they have been, they might have come across with this these kind of issues very commonly. So if you look at that, those entrepreneurs, maybe they have been successful initially, or maybe they face a problem. Maybe that is a short circle. You can say that they might have success. It was short-lived, but again, they not complete that is long career. That's what they have to keep on again rework those short-lived ideas. So it's not only that every entrepreneur or the leader who have been successful in their journey, they always have the common issue. They share the common successful stories. That is that the self-reliance, you should be independent, and you should be confident, you should be enthusiastic, and you should be always working on your ideas. And if ideas, maybe during this circumstances, you might become huge challenges. So that's what at that juncture, that any entrepreneur has to rework those ideas, these skills, and the passion through to enthusiasm. He has to rebuild himself, and then he can transform in the entire duration. So if you look at the successful stories of a lot of business entrepreneurs, if we'll ask about those entrepreneurs, they may be working. They may work for only to earn or to improve their financial goals. Of course, any entrepreneurs, he has to fulfill his financial goal, and of course, later he has to fulfill the needs of the society. Once his needs have been fulfilled, the basic needs, then he has to keep on fulfilling the needs of the neighbor society, then of course the nation building activity. So even though at this I think which is very nice to me to share that we are celebrating this 75th year of Independence Day of our nation, and during this Independence Day, our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji has been introduced, that is the research, that is Jai Vignan. Apart from that, Jai Kisan, Jai Jawan, he has introduced the new word, the new coin, the term. Along with that, it is Jai Vignan, that is through innovation. So through innovation, so we have to work on building the innovations, because in India, we have been still a lot of problems we are facing it. We all should work on those ideas, every challenge, every problem which we are facing on day to day. So it is the youngsters, yes, that is a wide message, a strong message to all the scientists of our nation, or the young generations who have the passion, who have high intellectual thoughts. They have to put into work to overcome the challenges of our country. So he has been influencing the youth through this Atmanirbhar Bharat. That is, we should be self-reliant. Our country should be self-reliant, and through this innovation, through this scientific approaches, so we can fulfill those things, and that's what we can be self-reliant, and we all should work on that, and that's what we can make. We should prosper and make others prosper, as well as the country also progress. This is the agenda that is entire nation have been celebrated this Independence Day, and that's what we have been celebrating this Entrepreneurship Day on 21st August. The entire week, of course, we have been just celebrating, or we can say the success of the achievements of those successful entrepreneurs on 21st August by rewarding them through awards, or we can say we have been fulfilling for their successful journeys. And that's what this is the day, this is the week we are celebrating. And of course, the IISF IMT College of Pharmacy, the faculty and the students have been actively involved in this entrepreneurship skills. They've been working from the starting. That lot of students they have coming out, they have been catalyzed through innovative ideas and through incubators. And these ideas again they've been validated, and maybe they are in the middle part of this phase of entrepreneurship journey. And I hope that many of the audiences who have been participating in this session, I hope that they've been really take themselves. That's what they have to take the inspiration from these successful entrepreneurs who have been made this, through this entire process of again what they've been in the initial, and so that they can be highly guided, highly motivated in their processes. In their, that is what the entrepreneurship day is being celebrated at IMT College of Pharmacy, and the many experts we have been planned, and that's what they're going to share their expertise, their guidelines in the days to come. So during this day, that's what I've been sharing this characteristics of any successful entrepreneurs. So what I suggest here, so to become a successful entrepreneur, of course, a lot of approaches and schools have been very clearly mentioned already. That is, you should position yourself as a leader. You should deliver what the value, and this is not just a quick profit. At this juncture, I would like to share that. So we should not just only and the quick profit, it should be always on, it's a passion. It should be a dedicated career. The satisfaction, it should be behind always in this journey. So if you look at just, I would like to share that on this question to all the audiences during this session, that how many successful entrepreneurs or businesses, or you can say the top business people we could remember. Hardly very few. If you look back, if you ask the question that who are the top one, you can say the business or richest person in this 2000, maybe or you can say 1000 or 1970. Very few could remember. So that is what I could say, that it is not only the economic interest of you, it is not your selfish development, it should be the broader minded, it should be always in the interest of everyone. That is what it should be. How many people we remember are successful leaders, of successful entrepreneurship leaders, the business successful personality. So we can't remember those, maybe there, maybe in every 10 years, every generation, a lot of people, maybe this year, maybe we can call it as Mukesh Ambani, or you can say in India, it's Adani, or maybe you can say that Microsoft will. Yeah, so in US, so a lot of Warren Buffett, or so many people, or you can say Elon Musk, so many richest person we can call it as, and they have been successful and they become the richest because of through their successful journey of entrepreneurship. So, but could you able to remember for this whether they sustain their you can say that story in the top? Always no. Every 10 years, every now and then, thus the top of leaders or top successful leaders that keep on changing. But how many of them we could able to remember? Hardly very few. So that's what those people who have worked for the mankind, those who work for the society, those who work for the passion, those who work in the interest of nations, and only those successful leaders of entrepreneurs are remembered. So those who have been work on their selfish goal or the quick profit, we can say, and those people will be losing their values, they not be remembered forever. So that is what always an entrepreneur should always look, that he himself has to be taken as a passion. It should be not just the profit mindset, and he should always work in the interest of his own, interest of his society, interest of the nation, and interest of the human or the mankind. So that should be always the intention and the clear goal approach when you are looking or you can going for this career. And of course, always the new ideas, especially behind your field, it should be filed always. So without new ideas, that's what you cannot survive. The ideas should be always keep on changing. There the society change, or the time changes, or the generation changes, the need of the society keep changing. That's what you should always keep on working on the innovative ideas, or because for the new problems. So for the same problem, existing problems, so without a new idea, so we not be successful. Maybe you may be the you may be the part of traditional solutions, but traditions will not give solution to those problems. So the new ideas always should be generating a critical thinking, or the skills, or the innovations, or your research. So these things has to be always a continuous process. It is not a one-day game. It is not one thought process. It should be continuous process. So the idea, any successful, if you call them about the big companies, or you can say the world MNCs, maybe Hindustan Lever, or you can recall of any good company, Microsoft, or you can call it about any company, or you can say recently we heard about this Elon Musk is coming up the electric vehicles. So anything, it should be a continuous. You can say established companies if we call it as MNCs. So if we call it about pharmaceutical companies like Dr. Reddy's, or you can say Glaxo, or if you just look back at the vaccines which has been produced in the country, or you can see the world in the world MNCs. So these companies always they keep on continuing their new ideas. They are keep on working on the challenges. They have been, that's what this continuous process is, not just one day or one time, or it's not that. So it's a continuous journey, it's a continuous solution, the new ideas and new minds. So intellectual minds, scientific minds keep on adding and pouring in. That is what the sustainability in that it should be the process, and that's what that entrepreneurships or the great companies will also always survive because of the continuous, you can say, transformation, continuous challenges they've been, or new ideas have been generating, and that's what they'll be continuous changes. So I expect that's what the innovator, entrepreneur, it should be keep always the planning should be not short-lived. It should be always the long approach, that should be long goal-oriented, and it should be always keep on adding. It's not that today it's done, it's okay, it's enough. No, maybe tomorrow is the next problem. So if you look at the example that in India we have the Ola, they will be successful for the last 5 years. Maybe we heard about a lot of the word Zomato. They're the startups. They are the entrepreneurship journey. They have started, but they have been in the first phase. Initially, they may be successful for the few years, but now they're in the vulnerable situation. They're facing huge challenges. So that is what it is. Not only that it should be short-lived. The ideas, whatever you generated, it should not be stopped at once. It should be continuous process. The ideas, the solutions keep on working. You should become continuous working on those ideas, and to sustain this business or this entrepreneurship, that is what you have to be. And you yourself, the leaders or the entrepreneur, you should be continuously working on those ideas. You can never stop. That's what in the first phase I show the time, the goals. It is not, it is completed. The entire, you may be the passionate. That's what if you look at again the successful leaders of our own nation, and maybe you can say Tata, or you can say the Birla, whatever maybe they may be continuous. Maybe if you look for the Tata Motors, they may be in the initial phases, they have worked okay, they're successful with some of the products, but later again they've been faced a lot of problems. So they have to again put in the intellectual, the scientific ideas or new ideas. They have to rework entire setup. So again, so if you look at a lot of examples I could share on this strategies. If you call up again the Samsung, maybe 5 years back or 2 years back, okay, we were looking for the Samsung mobiles and sets. So now it has been overtaken by other, maybe we can say OnePlus or Apollo or so many things again. So without innovative or the new challenges or new things, scientific solution, and you cannot survive, or it can be not sustainable. So that is what you should build a long-term relationship rather than just you are working on the long-term goals rather than only that is short-lived, or you can say you're building a short-term relationship with the employees, with the scientific communities, with the team, whatever you have, with the business relations you have with the business managers, and with the society also, because you have to customer relationships also to be maintained, and customer needs again evolve, keep on evolving here, and that's what you have to build a strong relationship with. If you look at example, the Colgate, everyone, every household in the entire world, maybe they remember, that's what the relationship, how we build with the quality, and how we build the quality with innovative knowledge, with the scientific knowledge, and always improving the standards and quality. That's what you have to be build a strong, sustainable relationship with the society and with mankind. And that's what we are going to be survive. That is what, if you look, that's what the Entrepreneurship Day, what we have been celebrating. It's like a new way, the new chapter, the beginning of new chapters in every, you can say the scientific, or you can say the student, or maybe the young generation. Those who are willing and the interesting, they have been, that's what you've been chosen. But as a career, you have to face a lot of hardship, a lot of issues, a lot of problems, challenges, and that's what you should be ignited. You should be always ignite with the ideas, and that keep continuing. You should have maintain the same stream of energy till completion, till completing or the end of your, we can say, life. You should keep on working, and that is what you will keep on striving continuously, forever, maintaining or building or continues to be in this process journey of entrepreneurship. So that's what, if you keep on working, then definitely your team will be always parallel, and they'll be inspired and through whatever the act or whatever the things what you have. That is what the team built on you, and the team again encircle and work with you. And that's what, if you look at as an inspirational team, it's nothing but a good example is the Infosys, the company where the friends or the team, they have built the great empire that is the Infosys technology. That is what the technology of the company and entrepreneurship, what you call it as, it is built through the team. That is a great example. That is a team without the strong mindset, with the same goal-oriented, with the same like-minded things, and understanding each other with the equal mindset, equal strategies, and equal inputs. And that is what hard work, that is what the great team transform great companies and the great entrepreneurship. And as a leader, and you have to build a team, and the team also always works with you, team always with you, and you should feel, like I said, as you feel together, and togetherness build, we can say, strong strategies, and you can become, that is another strategy of, you can say, building a great entrepreneurship. And of course, the value is always important. The value and the time is always precious, more precious is sometimes it's every inserts, every faculty and students here nowadays, we say that we have a problem that is, okay, we don't have the capitals, how to resource ourselves. Maybe a lot of startups, if you could, every day we could read in the newspapers, if we come across, say that many startups, they've been closing down or shutting down the doors. Maybe they have the great issues. They're not able to survive this recession or inflation or whatever the countries today we are facing it. Or maybe the even Western world, they were depending on those worlds. Maybe they are because of whatever the triggers of world wars, or maybe the Ukraine and Russia. So because of the challenges, or we can say the economic have been shrunken, and the problems have been arise. That's why many startups, especially the technology softwares, IT and technology related softwares, they shut their door, they close their doors, they're not able to survive because of this. And that is what the testing, this is a time testing. So this not, that is how you be stand on your own, how the companies, how the leaders, they stand on their own. It is the time testing, it is not the capital oriented, it is not a financial oriented, it is your innovation, it is your the energy, it is your scientific enthusiasm, it is your scientific thrills, it is a passion. And if you have passion, you can survive any kind of circumstances, any kind of environments you come across. If you have the strong desire if we have strong relationship, and that you have been attained through this mindset, that no one can stop this. That's what we can call it is the purity of your passion and the desire. That's what you've been working at the highest. No, you may be the big or small or whatever it may be, you can stop from you, and it cannot affect. That's what you should always work on relying on yourself, and at any circumstances, the companies will always work on this strength. The strength is ultimately, it is your energy. The energy comes with only your dedication, and the dedication of your team and your leadership skills and the quality and the purity can say all this transform into the purity, because the purity again you have been serving to the mankind. So if your intentions, if your goals are very clear, and that is what you've been serving the mankind, and any company, whether it's an individual or the group of people or the big company or the short company, you will be always withstand these thunderstorms which keep on coming. You can say the waves in the oceans keep coming. You always that can stop only with your energy, with your strength, and that's again built. It is not only on one day, it is through the century and the decades it takes, and that's what how we relay, how we keep on walking, and that's what this is the awareness program. What I mean to say that this is the actual the values of building a new career of entrepreneurship, and this is what every entrepreneur in this world they have been again come across all these issues in throughout their career. That's what I've been sharing the examples recently, that how new tech startup companies they're not able to survive. It is because they have aimless, or sometimes their goals were short-lived, or they never thought in long-term approach, or they may be self-oriented goals. So that's what the problem starts. Again, they keep on working. That's what your strong mindset. And I want to say the students and faculty of this session, those who have been participating in this session, I would like to mention that it is those who are really serious about building your entrepreneurship as a career, and you have to follow those great leaders who have transformed their entrepreneurship skill journey through hardship. It is not something you can say that anything, it can be easily accessible, it easily achievable. It's not like that. So everyone has to work hard, has to thrive, and always dedicate, and he has to dream. That's what the dream has to transform. That is what APJ Abdul Kalam, a successful scientist, with the president of our nation, who always advise and suggest, that is, the dream will not allow you to sleep. So that is what if you have a dream and a passion and energy, that will never allow you to take rest, and that's make you always, and that's what the inspiration you have to carry on. That's what used to keep on inspiring the young generation and minds, and of course the fellow colleagues are scientists during his successful journey as a scientist. So that is what I expect that all youngsters, especially the students and faculty, and maybe the new innovators or entrepreneurs who have been the part or middle or various stages of their journey of this entrepreneurship. Even though we're celebrating the success stories of those entrepreneurs for the entire age, every year we celebrate. But during this celebration, a strong message. That's what we have been. That's what the College of Pharmacy. That is what under this IIC guidelines, we have been celebrating this entrepreneurship day, and that is the part of celebration we do here. And that's what the message is very clear. That is what how we bring awareness, or how we awaken the young faculty and the students to take up this entrepreneurship journey. So if they have been the problem, that how they can rebuild, think about the strategies, and they can continue or try to work to become a successful. So that is the main part of the program of the session we planned, and this today. And the next day, tomorrow also, we have been inviting a lot of experts, and they've been sharing their experiences and their views on this entrepreneurship day, or innovations and the skills. And a lot of angel investors also, maybe that's what we could say, that a lot of investors they've been waiting. They're always waiting. There've been a lot of opportunity. They will keep that wherever the innovations are very strong, wherever the ideas are very strong, and that's what you can. The investors are they're ready to pour their money. So on this in your ideas. So my question and my point to all the youngsters, that is all new startups or maybe those working on the startup journeys. So it is the startup is your dream, your desire, and you should always work on that. And the challenges, whatever it is, the problems, and that makes you strong and strong day by day. And that your idea makes thereby becoming strong. And if your idea is strong, then you are building you are yourself building a confidence, and many takers will come forward to help you approach support. So that's what. Without a good idea, strong idea, and maybe that cannot be useful to the mankind. Definitely, that's what. With complete dedication, the youngsters has to always think about the idea. That is what they have to retest, they work on that, validate those ideas, testing for every time and now and there, and with the long-term approaches, and that you make it strong. Then a lot of capitalists, lot of you can say investors, they do ready to spend on you. They're ready to pour. They're ready to support you through their finances. But without these strong ideas, no one can help you, no one can support you. And that's what I expect, that a lot of problems, we'd say a lot of things, we would say that, especially my strong message to the students of college. And that's what, see, you are the strong, you can say, the end mindset, with every country, all the nation, developed countries, they're looking at our country, our nation. And that's what we have the strongest, the highest population of young minds are the engaged people. And these engaged people can do anything for the nation. And you should have the passion. Only thing we have to direct them, to motivate them for the right direction. That is what our Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji coming out and always putting a strong message on our youth. That is through Atmanirbhar Bharat, or whatever it may be, the strategies he has putting a lot of startups. Maybe the new ministries is starting. A lot of things have been he is putting on. That's what he coming out new ideas, strategies at his level, to build up the great nation. To relay are those that our young mindset, young people, instead of scratching their minds for these jobs which always only it is, we can say, the least part of any career. So I advise all my students and faculty, do, you can say, always a complete, you can say, awareness, and always I expect more and more people rather than looking for a jobs. Instead of for employment, always you have to give or you have to apply. That's what you should provide job opportunity for others. Instead of blaming or instead of talking about, instead of working for others. And I always that you should many youngsters has to take up the opportunities and you have to become entrepreneurs. And rather than working for others, I always suggest, make every student that you have to always work and you have to strengthen yourself, and you have to build a new entrepreneurship within you, and thereby helping others, thereby helping the country, rather than working only for these jobs. And that's what I suggest, that's for that only thing is required. It's not the capital. You don't need to worry about that. It only requires your dedication, your passion, and your interest. Only on these principles you can be succeeding. And that doesn't require huge sums of money. It requires only your time. Time matters. Time is very precious. And of course, if you invest your knowledge in this time, and definitely that will transform you to a great leader. And that's what it needs. The country needs more entrepreneurs. And through more entrepreneurs, we all become highly prosperous, and the country will be definitely highly prosperous. Without that, and everyone, if we keep on relying on others, then definitely we do come up with problems. And one more thing, this entrepreneurship day, I would like to give some advice that how look for the results that are not reached. If you look at, that's what my strategy was very clear, that instead of look for the jobs, you have to always provide jobs for others. Thereby we join together and build the great nations. So apart from that, nowadays, especially in India, or maybe on the emerging economies of the world, what I suggest, what I come across that in the rural part of India, maybe the people migrating towards the urban cities, and that is what the new challenges have been creating there. So the rural, it provides a lot of opportunities, lot of challenges. We can say that that's what then another 5 years definitely we are going to come across use scarcity of the food, because whenever every rural part of the India they've been migrating, so only the youngsters are migrating to urban. Only you can say those people maybe they are in the fields, maybe agricultural lands, they without much innovation, and they will traditional roots, and they may be stopped because their economic value, maybe they're not able to earn whatever they produce. Maybe it is high cost. So that is what a new grave area, new challenges of rural India. But again, that's opening up a new opportunity. That is how we can be agri entrepreneurs. So that is a new strategies. That is a new direction. Every youngsters of our nation has to look, and that is not only urban cities. We can build great rural cities, great rural India, great transformation, great opportunities. So that is a strong message to all the youngsters who are watching this session. And I hope that many will take up this new venture, or you can say entrepreneurship journey. And especially that is what the challenge I have mentioned here. That is, the highest population. Definitely the food scarcity is going to come sooner or later, maybe after 5 years, because no one works in the field, no one is producing much. And definitely that is a grave area that many youngsters can look forward. You can rebuild and you can work for 10 years. You cannot say that it's only 1 year you can transform and fulfill your needs. No, you have to wait at least 10 years, 1 decade, you have to plan and work for that to become successful entrepreneurs or journey. So that is the message I would like to share on this occasion. I hope that many of you, this is the awareness program. That's what I would like to say, that many people, many faculty members, I think they will join and they'll be inspired maybe during these sessions. And if they have any question on this aspect, they could rise and they could ask. Over to Anshuka.
So thank you so much for that insightful lecture, sir. I have a few questions from the students and I'll be addressing them on their behalf. So the first question which we have received is that, can a student while studying full-time launch a entrepreneurship venture along with his studies?
Absolutely. That's what in India, maybe we're not aware, but in abroad and other developed countries, they do have in-campus entrepreneurship. So all the universities, all the great countries, developed countries, they do the provision. They have the provision that they do have in-campus entrepreneurship. The students while studying, they build this entrepreneurship. They can start their business. They can start their startups, and that's what the institutions or the universities nowadays. That is what in India also it has been come up. The new education policy, you might have heard, NEP 2020, that has a great provision, that is in-campus entrepreneurship. That is those who have been, it is providing offline and online learning, exit and entry, multiple exit and entry, and that is only for the purpose of building this entrepreneurship qualities with during their studies. Maybe for example, if you are doing your study, you can start your entrepreneurship. So that's what in those days maybe traditional, maybe in India it was not that, but under national education policy, it has given a special emphasis, and they were given a lot of provisions for this student entrepreneurship that anybody can start. That was there in the other countries, but in India it has been started. I think from this year, last week, NEP has been implemented, and students definitely work on those. Maybe it's a new direction, maybe new platform, maybe not aware much, but this is a very good question I think you asked me. And NEP really is given a lot of weightage, a lot of emphasis on this student entrepreneurship. That is what we are transforming ourselves. Education sector is going to be transformed in India. That people like a student, maybe in India, maybe they might be having good entrepreneurship skill, but ultimately we are again, we cut down, or we are not encouraging or building the entrepreneurship skill because of this traditional routine, you can say, rotated education system that has been rooted out now. So that's what NAB's clearly strategy. It's very clearly says that anyone who have this entrepreneurship skill, and that's what the startup innovation has been all started. You can start up your, you can start, any student can have these skills. You can start at any age. There is no restriction, and that's what NAP has given multiple entry, multiple exist for this reason only.
Thank you so much, sir. The next question which I have received is how to minimize the risks that come along with entrepreneurship.
See, minimize the risk. That's what I very clearly, the strategy is very clear. You have been okay, high risk. Maybe you're working on high risk strategies, but until unless your idea is not strong, your idea is ultimately, that is what you are building your idea, your knowledge should be completely updated, completely recent, or it can be advanced also. That is what it rely upon how you have created idea, and it is not, the idea should be is well balanced. It is not only for short term. It should be medium term. It should be long term. The idea should build on entire as a career for the decades, not for only the short term. It should be, it should fulfill the short term, again the mid term as well as long term. So this is the idea. This is the high risk. And of course, for building these ideas, you do not require much of your, it requires only the highest knowledge. I ask again that if intellectuals who have the purest mindset, purest knowledge, they have to put in this. And the risk is only, it is in the initial stages, initial phases of building these ideas. And later, it can, how we can transform this idea. This is the risk period. And this risk period is very, you can make it minimum. That's what it should be always opportunities. It should be reasonable, a win-win situation. Sometimes the idea should be tuned up in such a way that sometimes you should meet the short-term goals, sometimes you should meet the mid-term goals, sometimes you should meet the long-term goals. So you have to sometimes tune up more, but without compromising on the long-term goals. So there you have to adjust yourself. That's what student has to plan in. That's what you have to mitigate those problems. And the opportunity should always give planning in the idea should clearly state that I'm meeting this short-term goals, maybe for 1 year, 2 years. And that's very clear. But we should not take away fulfilling the ideas, the short-term goals. You should not always forget the long-term. That's what I've been very clearly giving the example, Zomato. Now it's failed, I may not fail, it maybe it's not able to sustain. Maybe it is, again, if you look about Paytm, if you look about you can say the Ola, Uber. So a lot of things now to sustain themselves, because they may be work more strategies towards the short term, initial 2-3 years of goals, but ultimately they're not able to sustain because they don't have the land. That's what the risk is, should be always calculated and it should be weighted accordingly. Without a continuous process of your knowledge or this updation and working on the innovations, you cannot survive. That is the risk, and that's what you fulfill the initial stage. That is what the minimum risk you have to take always. That's what in the put the minimizing initially how quickly you can transform into long-term strategy and sustainable energy. So that is, it again, depends on the skills of those entrepreneurs or how they've been, the team they've been building on this, on their resources. And that's what I expect, that it is most, we should be always inclined, any entrepreneur should be always inclined themselves to the risk rewarding. That's what, how strong your knowledge, how strong your innovation. It should be continuous. It's not why you one stop, okay, it is, you've done something, okay, it's enough. No, it should be continuous process. So the idea should keep on evolving. The idea should be again rebuilt and rethinking strategies. It should be retested, assigned as per the needs of circumstances. So minimize the risk is only again your team, your dedicated team, creative thinking, credibility. It relies on that, and that is what thereby we can minimize the risk. How time bound, minimize the risk as per the needs, short-term needs or long-term needs. So it only minimize, we can minimize only by, that is, keep on adding the ideas, correcting as per the needs.
Thank you so much for answering all the curious doubts, sir. And I would like to take this opportunity to express a vote of thanks on behalf of IMT College of Pharmacy to Dr. Mallikarjun for taking out time from your busy schedule to grace us with your presence today. And it was really an interesting and interactive session, sir. We were very grateful to have you today. I would also like to thank the entire team which made this event possible today. And that brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you everyone for joining in.
Thank you, Anshika. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
So we can leave the meeting.
Okay.
Haren sir?